Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So everyone should have been able to use the bit.ly. And again, if you need the link, if you scroll up in the chat box, you'll see where I typed it in for you. In fact, I'll type it in again, so that way you can get to it quickly. There you go. So if you click that link that's in the chat box, you'll be taken to our new Google Basics Training and Resources Haiku page. So I just want to show you a couple things real quick. So on the home page, we have just the basic promotion doc that you've probably already seen to join us today. But on the left-hand side, right now it's pretty empty, but as we go through and do webinars and we continue to do more trainings, we're going to be adding to this list. So that way you can come back to this class and you'll be able to get more resources, more materials. So today we're going to focus on Google Drive and Google Docs. And we'll get into the slides a little bit later, but I just in the sake of time, I wanted to make sure I showed you. So for our elementary teachers, if you click on the elementary applications link underneath Drive and Docs Basics, you'll see a list of resources as well as standards that Google tools connect to. So you'll be able to use those resources. And for secondary, you can click on the secondary applications link. And first it lists the digital literacy standards. So those are your Common Core standards. And then for secondary, what it is this is a spreadsheet, and you can go ahead and click on the individual links and it will take you to a copy of a Google Doc that is either a student sample or a teacher sample. That's something that is currently being used in the classroom. And if this is a little bit too small for you to see, if you go down to the bottom of the page, you can click a link to view the spreadsheet full screen. So that way you'll be able to scroll through and see what material works best for you based on grade level or content area. So I wanted to make sure I showed those to you guys. And we plan on adding more materials to the secondary and elementary applications page as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Drive and Docs Basics. We'll go ahead and go into the slides. And these slides, of course, are available to you in Haiku. So I know today we're on a little bit of a time crunch since we're working after school, but hopefully by the end of today, you'll know the basics of your Google Drive, how to create a Google Doc, how to set up sharing settings, some collaboration features, and if we have time, we will be able to go over some additional Google Doc features as well. Also, just so you know, next time you want to come look at this Google Doc, if there is a specific thing you can't remember how to do and say you want to go to sharing, you can go to sharing, click on it, and it'll take you specifically to those resources. So this table of contents is interactive. All right, so Google Drive. So to access your Google Drive on your computer, you're going to want to use Google Chrome. The reason Google Chrome works best for Google Drive and Google Docs is just like you're not going to put Ford parts in a Toyota Corolla. You're going to put Toyota parts in that car. So same thing here. For Google Drive and Google Docs, you're going to want to use Google. So in the search bar or the Omni box, both names are appropriate, you'll type drive.google.com. And then you'll log in using your RUSD Learns email address and password. So did anyone have any problems logging into their RUSD Learns account and getting to their Google Drive? If you did, could you please let us know in the chat box? Okay. So it looks like everyone was able to get in. So on the left-hand side of your Google Drive is the navigation panel. To create anything new, you'll click the red New button. Hi, Jeff. Glad to see you joined in. Next is the My Drive. So the way I like to think about this is My Drive is a giant flash drive in the cloud. So My Drive is where you're going to store things. Next is Shared with Me. So these are things that have been shared with you. Google Photos. If you choose to connect your RUSD Learns email address to your phone, you can enable your photos to be backed up to Google Photos, and this is where they will be stored. Recent is items you have recently opened. Starred, these are things that I like to think of as bookmarks or favorites. And then the last one is the trash can, which is pretty obvious. So this is what your Google Drive looks like in general. So on mine, the navigation panel on the left-hand side looks a little bit different from the previous slide. What you see now under the word My Drive is all of my folders, versus on this screen, there weren't any folders. So hopefully you can see the difference. So to get folders within your Google Drive, because they aren't there automatically, you would click on the My Drive icon and then click New Folder. It would then prompt you to name the folder. You could also click on the red New button to create a new folder as well. And sometimes when you're within your Google Drive, you're going to want to change the way it's viewed or find out information about the things you're currently looking at. So you have two options for when you're looking at your Google Drive. The first is Grid View. The second is List View. So in this example before, I'm currently looking at my Google Drive in Grid View. And if I clicked on this icon, it would switch it to List View. Next would be to change the sort option. So you can sort by a couple different ways. Most popular is A to Z, but you can also sort by recently opened, which is pretty convenient as well. The letter I is details and activity about a current or selected item. And the last one is the gear, which is just your Google Drive settings in general. But it's set up for optimal use already, so you really don't have to go in there too much if you don't want to. So when you select an item, it'll be highlighted in blue. So in this case, this blue folder is highlighted. You'll get new options at the top right of your screen of what you can do with this folder. The first is to get a link, then you could share it with others, you can immediately trash it, or you can get additional options depending on what you're clicking on. So in this case, this is a folder. So when I click on this item, some items are directly related to this being a folder. When you click on the word New, a couple of things will pop up. First, it will prompt you if you want to create a new folder. This is also where you can go to upload files or folders from your computer. So if you have a file of Word docs, for example, that you would like to back up so you have a secondary storage location, you would click Folder or File Upload. Next is Google Docs, which is similar to Microsoft Word, Google Sheets, which is like Excel, and then Google Slides, which is like PowerPoint. And we have webinars scheduled for those as well. Hopefully those will be run a little bit smoother, right guys? So now we're going to go into the Creating a Doc section. So to create a doc, you're going to click the red New button and then select Google Docs. So when you click that red New button, it'll bring up the menu and it will open a Google Doc in a new window. So when the doc opens, in the upper right-hand corner, it's automatically going to be labeled Untitled Document. Just like we tell our students to put their names on their papers, we need to make sure we put our names on our docs because Google doesn't create Untitled Doc 1, Untitled Doc 2 like Microsoft Word does. Google pays attention to the timestamps, so it thinks I don't need to give it a number attached to it. So you definitely want to make sure you name it. And if you want to play along with the rest of the presentation, go ahead and open a Google Doc now and call it the RUSD test doc, comma, your name. And that'll be because you'll be sharing it with me later. And I want to know who you all are. So you can go ahead and do that now. So just some things to notice. Page setup, you don't have as many options as in Microsoft Word, but you do have the orientation, the paper size, colors, and margins. The reason why Google allows you to change the color of a page in a Word doc is because a more advanced application of Google Docs is to actually use it to create low-level web pages. So that's why you might want to change the color to light blue for paper instead of white. So the Google Docs toolbar, I know this image looks a little scary, but it's there as a reference for you to use if you ever forget what an icon means. But what I love about Google Docs is most of the icons that you see in Google Docs are the same as what you would see in Microsoft Word or in a blogging software. So The big letter capital B still means bold. The U with the underline still means underline. Some things that are unique to Google is the text background and color. In Microsoft Word, you have two buttons, one to change the color of the text and one to change the color behind the text. But in Google Docs, you only have the one button that you can do both functions from. You also have an insert link button that looks like two little pieces of chain link, and then you have an insert comment button, which we'll talk about later. What's good to know about the Docs toolbar is whenever you're in any Google application, whether it be Sheets or Slides, if you can make the font bold, the icon to do so is going to be the same. Google doesn't try to trick you, which I find very convenient. So this is just a quick image showing you how to change the font. So as you can see, I typed in hello RUSD, then I made it a title, then I made it a heading, then I changed the font completely, changed the size, made it bold, made it italics, and then I just made it red. So the next thing we're going to talk about is inserting images. There's a lot of different ways you can insert images in Google Docs. You can upload something directly from your computer. You can take a snapshot. You can use a URL. You can upload it from your Google Drive. And what I showed you on the screen in the computer is how to insert an image based off of Google search. So often our students will have two tabs open, and that can get really inconvenient and it can clog up the screen, especially if they're on a Chromebook. But if you have them do the insert image and the search feature, they can do a Google search for images just like they normally would in a different window. What's also nice about searching for images using the Google Docs image function and doing a Google search is it's only showing you images that the students have the rights to be able to use. So that way we're not having to worry about copyright infringement and we're being good digital citizens. So to upload an image from your computer, you would click upload and then choose an image to upload. Although it's not shown on your screen, what it will normally ask you to do is to pick an image from your hard drive and then it will upload. What's nice about your images is you can change the colors and you can crop them so you can make them fit the presentation purpose of your choice. And you can also insert images from your Google Drive. So you'd click on Google Drive, select the folder where the image lives, select the image, and then click Insert. There's also one of the things that's the greatest about Google Docs is how easy it is to insert a link. There's two different ways you can insert the link. In the upper left-hand corner, I'm demonstrating how you would write the text, highlight it, and then you would insert the link you want it to be. In the bottom right-hand corner, what I'm showing you is I'm copying and pasting a very ugly long link. I don't want my link to look like that. So if I click on it and click change, it allows me to change the text to be something a lot more pleasant and something easier to use. You can also insert tables into Google Docs by clicking Insert and Table. The largest table you can have is a 20 by 20 table. I've never found a reason to use one that big, but who knows, education may surprise me. So tables are great because if you're having more than one person collaborate on a doc, you can insert a table and have each individual type in their own cell on a table. And if you're ever wondering, like, where do I make superscript so I can have powers in math? Or where do I insert the omega? You'll want to look on the Insert and the Format menus. So now on your Google Doc, what we'd like you to do is practice inserting text, an image, a link, and a table. And if you need me to re-demo anything, I can do that for you right now. And just let us know in the chat box if there's something that needs to be re-demoed. Sorry about that, I'm near a microwave. All right. Does anyone need anything re-demoed? Or does anyone need me to go and do a more step-by-step demo? If so, please let me know in the chat box. Okay, so, all right. Still trying to catch up. Okay, is there anything you need me to do specifically to show off or to walk you through again? Because I'd be more than happy to. Okay, sounds good. All right. Thanks for the all clear. Much appreciated. All right, so the next part about Google Docs that we're going to talk about today is sharing. And this by far is my favorite thing about all of the Google applications is the ability to share. Because I'm sure we've all been in a meeting where someone's like, oh, let's collaborate on this. And then you're the person that has to do the typing for everyone at the table instead of everyone being able to type at the same time. Or even worse, oh yeah, here's this, slideshow we need for our collaboration period. And then there ends up being 5 copies of the same PowerPoint. With Google, you'll never have those problems. What's also nice to know about anything you create in Google is it automatically defaults to private. Nothing will be shared with anyone unless you share it with them. So this is a screenshot of one of my documents that I did not share. So that way it says, this is private, I'm the only person that can see it. But if you want to share things, in the upper right-hand corner underneath your email, there is the blue share button. When you click on the blue share button, it's going to bring you to the sharing menu. So this box right here is where you would type in the RUSD Learns email address of the person you want to share and collaborate with. And what's nice, if it's someone you share and collaborate with a lot, you'll only have to enter their name once, and then every time after, when you start typing in their name, Google's going to predict, oh, you're sharing this with Karen again. Here's the rest of Karen's email. I'm going to save you a couple seconds from typing, which is great. You can also, whenever you share a Google Doc with a person, give them 3 different abilities. So the first is to edit, which means they can do absolutely anything they'd like to your document just like you. The second is comment. So they're allowed to put digital sticky notes on your document, and they can change the text, but only give you suggestions. You as the owner of the document would have to give final approval of every single change that someone suggests. And then the last option is to view. If you give someone viewing access, they can do 3 things. They can view it, they can print it, and they can make a copy of it. But that's it. They won't be able to change the text. And the last thing you can do is get the shareable link. And we'll talk about that later. Or actually, we'll talk about that now. I almost forgot. When you click on the Get Shareable Link button, it will bring you to this screen. So just a quick point of reference, it's green on this screen because that means a shareable link is currently active. On this screen, where it was white, it means there was no shareable link currently set up. So when I click on the Get Shareable Link, I'll see this screen. So it defaults to anyone within the school district can view. But if I want, I can change it to anyone within the school district can comment, or anyone within the school district can edit. I can also turn the shareable link off if I need to. And I can also click more, and it gives me more options, which makes sense, right? The first is public on the web, which means absolutely anyone in the world can find it. Next is anyone with the link, meaning if you share the link to maybe a parent newsletter, only parents that have the link would be able to see it. Although be advised, if someone forwards that link to another person and another person and another person, they all have the link, so they'd be able to see it too. Next is on Riverside Unified School District, which means it's public to the school district. Currently, I have selected anyone at Riverside Unified School District with the link can view, meaning they have to have the link. And then last is off, only specific people. And right now, all of these options are set to view, but I can also change it to can comment or can edit, depending on what the purpose of this document is. Google does also give you some advanced sharing options that you can get to from the sharing screen. So when you click advanced, it shows you the list of people you currently have on your document. And then underneath it says owner settings, and you as the creator of the document are automatically the owner. So I'll just zoom these in a little bit. So the first is you can prevent editors from changing access and adding new people. Prior to this feature being added in Google Docs, I would share something with a teacher, and then that teacher could add the rest of her department to the document. And sometimes that's useful, sometimes that's appropriate, but other times that might not be. So as the owner of the document, you could check that box, and that would mean no one else on the document is allowed to add new people to see it. You can also disable options to download, print, and copy for commenters or viewers. So say you share a copy of an essay outline with your students, and you have them set up as viewers so they can look at it but can't type on it. You could also click this so that way the students wouldn't be able to download or print it if that fits your instructional objective. So just real quick to show you in the screen. So this is showing how you can change the viewing options. So if you share something with an individual person and say you're like, oh, I gave my boss editing rights to this. You know, I don't think they need to be able to edit it. I just want them to see it. You click the blue share button, you click on the names of the people, and then to the right, it gives you the option to change what they can do. And you can do this as many times as you want. There's no limit. And if you want it, it's not shown on this screen. But if I hit the X next to what they can do, they're completely removed from the document. So that way they wouldn't be able to see it again. Just make sure you click the blue Done button to save your changes. So now we're going to go ahead and share. So for those of you that created a Google Doc, what I'd like you to do is to please share it with me. And I'm going to go ahead and type in my email address into the chat box since I know I'm new to the district and not a lot of you know how to spell my last name. It's a long one too, so definitely want to type that in for you. All right, so there's my email address. So go ahead and if you created a Google Doc, please share it with me now. And again, if you need a quick reminder to share something, you would click on the blue share button for your document. And in the box, you'd start typing in my email address. And for me, it's populating because I know myself. But for you, you will have to type my entire email address. And you can give me editing access, commenting access, viewing access, whatever you'd like. Ooh, look at all those docs. All right, so if you're in your My Drive and someone shares something with you, you can get to it from two different directions. The first is if you go to, is via email. And the second, and to me, the most easiest way to get to things is underneath My Drive is Shared with Me. So I'm going to click Shared with Me, and then I can go ahead and open this doc, and let's see what kind of access I have. It's a jellyfish. Beautiful. I like it. So this person gave me editing access. So if I wanted to, in this specific doc, I could go in and I could, let's say, add another image of a jellyfish. There we go. So I'll add this one to your doc. And what's nice about collaborating this way is things happen in real time. There's other cloudware that's available to schools, but you wouldn't be able to see me updating as I'm updating. So let's see, what other Google Docs do I have? Thanks for sharing, and hopefully I didn't ruin it too much. Oh, look at it. This one, the background of the color's been changed. Nice. Happy Halloween to you too. Very nice. All right, thanks guys. And there's a couple other ones here as well. So thank you guys for sharing those with me. Did anybody give me viewing access? Yes, somebody gave me view only. So this is a great example. So right now, since it's view only, I literally can only view it. There's nothing I can do. Can't do a thing. And you know what? Look at that. This person has even, or let's see, this is from Matt. So thanks, Matt, has even disabled printing. So there is nothing I can do with this document. Awesome. Great job. Let's see, did anyone give me suggesting access? Nope, that's okay. All right. Ooh, nice bug. All right, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and jump back into our presentation. So collaborating. Now that we've shared things, we want to go ahead and edit them. So as you saw on the screen, you can have real-time editing power. So multiple people can be in a document at once, adding to the content of that document. So commenting. When you comment on an item, and actually I can go ahead and show you this in this test doc. So when you comment on something, you'd either click on it or highlight it. So in this case, I'm going to highlight the opening of his doc. And now I'm going to give it a comment. So it highlights the text. And then this is my comment. Not a very good comment. Obviously, your comments would be a lot more insightful. But now it says this is my comment, and it shows that there's the comment. You can reply to a comment. And actually, what's kind of nifty about a comment is you can actually tag people in a comment. So people that are a part of the document or people that aren't a part of the document, you can add them to the conversation about this individual piece. To get rid of a comment, you would click on it and click the word resolve. But if you want to see a list of the comments that have been created before, in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you can click on comments and you can see all the comments that have ever been made on the document. Next is suggesting, and I'm totally going to continue to use this Google Doc, so thank you for sharing it with me. So suggesting makes track changes like Word. So right now I'm in full editing mode, and you can change this for yourself regardless of if it's a shared document or if it's your personal document. So right now I'm editing because I've been given full editing rights. But I'm going to change it to suggesting now because I don't want to mess too much with their document. So what did we want to say about biospheres? So now since I'm suggesting, the text is in green to differentiate it from the rest of the document, and someone who has full editing access to the document would have to approve or deny that change. And then the last one is viewing, which we've already demonstrated, where you literally can just view the document. And if someone's disabled your rights to print, you can't even print it. All right, so I want to give you guys some time to practice with the collaboration tools. So go ahead and I will share a Google Doc with you. And on your my Google Doc, now let's make that smaller. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure I give you the easy link. Oop. Where did it go? All right, so sorry about the little delay, but this just goes to show you how quickly you can get things done in Google. So I want this shared with anyone with the link in view, and that's a really ugly link, so I'm going to make it short. So now, if you could go to this link. Oops, sorry about that, clicked on the wrong thing. It'll take you to this funny moment. So go ahead and you have editing access to this document. So if you could, go ahead and put in a funny moment you've experienced during your teaching career, and I'll make sure I'll get us started off. And then I spelled embarrassed wrong. So you can just take this link, this short URL, and type it into your Omni box up at the top of the screen. And that is an L like Google. And that is a lowercase c and a capital O. And it is case sensitive. In fact, you know what I can do? We'll try and make life a little bit easier. Oh, there you go. I see one person. Fantastic. I see. Oh, there you guys are. Awesome. And don't be shy. We're all friends here. This is a safe Google space. And remember, if you want to leave a comment on someone's funny moment, you can just highlight the text and then click the little comment button. And this is also a good example of something that you can do with your students. So you can have a warm-up activity and you can have them put their name and you can put a sentence starter, you can put a prompt, anything like that. Oh no, poor students. And poor you. That probably wasn't a fun mess, huh, Jeff? And remember, if you can, go ahead and you can turn on suggesting to practice. So my suggestion was to add a period. And then do you want to go ahead and approve? Someone can practice approving my suggestion if you want. Matt, you were mistaken as a student. That happens to me on campuses all the time. I'm barely 5'1" and I have a giant backpack. All right. Well, thank you for Matt and Jeff for typing in a funny moment. I appreciate you sharing with us. I'll go ahead and pop back over the presentation. So in the last couple of minutes we have, I just wanted to show you some additional features that are available to you within Google Docs. I know we were a little bit short on time, so I'm going to just show these to you. And if you're interested in learning more, I'd be more than happy on staying on the webinar a little bit longer, but I know you guys are all very busy people. So some additional features. First is revision history, and I can actually pop in over here, or let's see, let's pop in on the funny moments doc. So I can show, oh man, speak Asian, yikes. I can go on this doc and I can do file, see revision history. And now on the right-hand side of my screen, it's showing every single change that was ever made to the doc. So Karen started it, and then I added to it. And you can see everything that's ever been typed. So this is a great thing that teachers have access to because you can show students their progress when they're writing. You can also look at it if some student comes to you and says that they were cyberbullied within the Google Doc, because then you can see the evidence of what happened to them. So that's available to you. And it's also good if someone accidentally erases something they weren't supposed to erase. You can go through revision history and you can recover that information if you need to. The research tool. So the research tool, I don't have a lot of time to show it to you, but I'll try. So if you click on Tools and then click on Research, it's going to bring up a sidebar. You can use it to conduct a Google search. You can use it to conduct an image search. Where do we find the revision history? So if you go to File, See Revision History, then it'll pop up on your screen. So there you go. Glad I looked over and saw that question. So again, that research tool allows you to do Google searches. You can also search Google Scholar, which is Google's small version of EBSCOhost. You can also do quotes. And just so you know, literature teachers, if the student searches The Great Gatsby, they're not going to find quotes from the novel. They will find quotes about the novel. So that way you can ensure that they're not cheating. It's also a way you can do the dictionary. But what's really nice about when you search in the Google research tool, I want a corgi, so sorry about that. But you can filter the images, so that way students are only going to see images that they're allowed to use. And you can also change the citation format. So that way students can have things cited in MLA, APA, or Chicago. So if I inserted this image of a corgi, and I'll pop it down here on the bottom, if you notice there's a footnote with the number 1. And if I scroll to the bottom of my page, it's given me the website where that picture came from. So there's a lot of different fun ways to use the research tool. Google has also implemented voice text. Pardon me. Google has also implemented speech to text. So if you go to Tools and enable voice typing, you'll be able to talk to your computer, and then it will do the typing for you. There's also Google add-ons. And as you notice, there's a great Google add-on called GMath that you can use if you are a math teacher. So if you do add-ons, get add-ons, it will take you to the add add-ons page. And there's a ton of different ones that you can add. Most of them are free. Some of them they work on a freemium where they start out free, but then they're not later. But I encourage you to go through and look and try different ones. There's some fantastic ones out there. And then earlier you saw me demonstrate the short URL. So to do that, you would just copy that ugly link and then send it, and then type it in at or paste it in at goo.gul, and it'll give you something that is shorter. The other thing that I really like is if you want to force people to make a copy of your document, you can share it with them by changing the URL and removing the word edit and type in copy. And then if I did this correctly, whoop, that file doesn't exist. I messed that up. Oh, that's right. You have to set it to anyone with the link can view first, but then you can force people to copy your docs. And then if you have any students that are using Google Docs on their phone or on a tablet, You can go ahead and watch this video to see how students interact with that, since the interface will look a little different. And then if you want, you can forward your RUSD Learns account to your Outlook, but unfortunately we're a little short on time. But if you go back to the slideshow, it'll show you that's how to do that step by step. And there's 2 pages of resources. The first is a list of official Google resources, and then the second is a list of bloggers and ed tech teachers that are out there that are more than happy to help you and that have created some great resources for you to use. So if there's any questions or if there's anything anyone would like me to see or like me to do again, I'd be more than happy to. Otherwise, I understand that it's time for you guys to go. And thank you for sticking it out, and thank you for sticking with us during the technical difficulties. And just again, too, this webinar has been recorded, so it will be available for people to see again later. So if you want to show this to your colleagues or if you want to rewatch it again, you are more than welcome to. And that should be posted into the haiku class by the end of the week. And again, if you have any other questions, you can type them into the chat box. I'd be more than happy to stick around with you a little bit longer if you'd like me to. Oh, good. I'm glad I showed you the research tool. It is a great thing to play with. I encourage you to just open a doc and have a good time. And thank you for all the thank you and the thank yous and happy faces, guys. You are awesome. All right, if there's no other questions, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful rest of your week. Have a great night.